Good evening. My name is Bruce Montgomery, and thank you for joining me on another edition of Technology Access Television. Well, today we are going to celebrate entrepreneurs, businesses all over this city of Chicago. As you know, that's one of my favorite subjects. I always like to talk about what's happening in our business community, because where there is business, there are jobs. Where there is jobs, there is revenue and prosperity. And that's what we always want to talk about, because on every side of town, if we can stimulate our entrepreneurs in our business community, then we can have the kind of wealth creation that each and every one of us deserves to be a part of. And my guest today is playing a very special role in celebrating entrepreneurs and businesses here in Chicago. She is the first ever Small Business Advisory Council chairperson for the mayor of the city of Chicago. The mayor decided that he needed to do something to make this city a little more responsive to the needs of small businesses. So he selected my guest to help him out in that arena. And she has been doing one phenomenal job. My guest today, of course, is Roxanne Nava. Roxanne, how are you?
I'm great, Bruce. Thank you so much for having me
And
here.
I probably didn't get your actual title right, so let me do it justice. You are the...
So the official title is Chief Small Business Officer for the city. But I'm also the chair of the Small Business Advisory, the Mayor's
Right.
Small Business Advisory Council.
So you are, and will be recorded in the annals of city history, the first ever Chief Small Business Officer.
Yes, I will, I guess.
So that's a historic. I guess you're pretty happy about that.
Well, actually, I'm more happy about the work that we're doing.
Okay.
Because it's not in any way, shape, form about me. It's about Mayor Emanuel's commitment to small businesses, and so that's really what this is all about. That's why last year in March, the mayor launched the Small Business Center. It was a one-stop shop for small businesses, and where businesses, instead of having to go to different floors, talking to different people, trying to figure out what they needed to do, it's one place, one person that they talk to. And it's our job at the city to navigate that for the small businesses, to do the right needs assessment, so that essentially we become a partner for small businesses versus an obstacle. And so, I'm here really, as an advocate also for small businesses. And that's my mandate from the mayor. And so, as you mentioned, the Small Business Advisory Council, we've got a great group of business leaders, including yourself. You are, a huge asset on the Small Business Advisory Council. And these are really entrepreneur thinking people. Yes, they are small business owners. We have aldermen who own a small business, heads of business groups, and businesses throughout the entire city. But ultimately, it is about how do we strengthen our small businesses in the city, which means we strengthen Chicago.
Well, there's a lot of lip service all over around innovation, around doing things differently. And it's a pleasure to see that one of the areas where there's actually been some demonstrable impact is in this area that you're involved in, because anybody that's been up to the floor where the Small Business Center is looks around and says, this place didn't look like this before. I mean, it's been a real makeover, not just a makeover physically, but a makeover in the way services are provided. So I think while the whole notion of this Small Business Center came out of the mayor's innovation team, this is one of the few things that, well, not maybe it's a lot more than I know about, but this one got implemented, got done. You were named, the council was named. You start meeting, you start working on projects, and so you really hit the ground running from day one.
Right. I mean, we have the Small Business Center. It's really, as you said, it's not lip service. It's not window dressing. It's actual concrete results to support businesses. It's training our staff. We've got a strong team, and really having new tools for businesses. And those new tools include, as we talked, it's having a new website for businesses.
So let's just talk about that. Let's talk about this website, because that was no small undertaking. This is not a makeover of the city of Chicago's website. This is a small business website just for the focus of small businesses, because when people go to the city website, they may not know what's going on and where to go. So now there is a direct correlation. Where do people go to see that website?
Well, the website, it's really easy. It's at the City of Chicago's website /SBC for Small Business Center. That's what it stands for.
Okay.
And we really redesigned our website because it was by listening to business owners. I mean, we listened to business owners and they said, you know, we'd like to get information 24 hours a day, but use our language. Don't use the city's jargon, because I don't really understand what PWU means. I don't understand some of these terms. Can you just make it simple for me? I want a website, a one-stop shop where I know what I need to get started or to grow my business. You know, I'd like to be connected to neighborhood resources. You know, I also want information about, you know, access to capital. So yes, on one hand, I want information to help me either apply for a license online or maybe get me prepared. But as a business owner, you need a whole lot more. And the Mayor Manuel was very committed to making sure it's not just about getting your license. It's about making sure you're successful through the entire journey of entrepreneurship, so that it is a one-stop shop, you know, in our website. But of course, we have an outstanding team, but sometimes you just want to be able to access the information yourself online quickly.
Well, when entrepreneurs think of establishing businesses in any one of our wonderful neighborhoods, coming downtown is not on the top of the list, because it's a challenge to, you know, come downtown to get situated, parking and all that kind of stuff. So the fact that now we're moving more to a self-service environment and a connected environment. Chicago has always been well known for its who you know, not what you know, but this gives a more democratic and more open source way of getting the information. You don't have to go, but you can go to your alderman's office. You don't have to go to this city or that facility. You can go to this website and get a lot of publicly available information, but also information about resources from the private sector, as you mentioned, from financial providers, from a whole lot of people. So then how are you going to continue to maintain the freshness of this content? Are you always looking for new ways to plug content into this portal that you've created for small business?
You know, that we're always looking for new ways to do it. You know, the other great thing about our the Small Business Center's newly designed website, it's the very first website for businesses that's bilingual. So it was professionally translated to Spanish.
Okay.
So that is a big deal, because when we look at how many new businesses that we have in the city of Chicago, almost 50% of them are started by immigrants.
That's correct.
And so you know, for the mayor, it was very important that we start with Spanish. So we did have it professionally translated in Spanish, but you know, the content of the website, absolutely, it's dynamic. It's constantly changing, because we need to be in line with our businesses, who are always thinking of new ideas and new things that they're looking really from the city and from other entities to support them. We want to make sure those resources and those partners are available for the businesses, and they're not out there alone trying to figure it all out on their own. If we can somehow, you know, put that information there so that whether they want to start or grow their business, it's on there, it's there.
Now also, you are pushing more capabilities out into the communities themselves, not just electronically, but in terms of the real delivery of services. So when we look at the role that delegate agencies are playing, when we look at local community-based chambers, this website is just one of the tools that's part of your new arsenal. Talk about some of the other things that will be rolling out. What can small businesses and residents of communities look for coming out of this small business campaign that the mayor has put in place?
So there is the new, you know, it's obviously redesigning our small business center so that when you do come into City Hall, you know, you have a really concierge type of service. You work with great professionals. It's one-stop shop. Now, maybe you don't want to come into City Hall. Maybe you want to have the access of information online. Or maybe you're thinking, I want to grow my business. Where's the new site I'm going to look at? And so in response to that and listening to business owners, you know, Mayor Manuel launched another technology tool called Site Selector.
Okay.
So Site Selector is a web-based tool where anybody can look at any businesses that are available. And so you have mappable layers. It has demographic information about the community. So that's an example, whether it's close to a train, close to a university. It also has incentive layers, so that when you're looking at a property that's available, not only do you know it's close to a university, it's close to a train,
so
you know if it's in a TIF zone.
Okay. All right.
You know if it's in an empowerment zone. You also know if there's other tax benefits for it. And that's great information if you're a landlord or a business looking
Okay.
for vacant property.
All right.
And so you don't have to do that work. We've already done it for you.
And you connect to Site Selector through the small business web portal, or is its own site as well?
it's a link on our page,
Okay.
so that when you want to find a location, it's one of the headers. Want to find a location, it's on there. It's also, as you mentioned, we've got partners in the neighborhood. We have contractual neighborhood business development centers that the city works closely with. And those neighborhood business development centers actually also have a link of a neighborhood profile on their page as well.
So isn't this been, because there have always been these delegate agencies, and some of them had contracts since before the city was founded, but have this new approach with these neighborhood business development centers. Has that totally been revived? Are there some real metrics that you're tracking to see? We're not just handing out contracts. People are expected to perform services, and so we're measuring what's going on there. So has that been revised? Are there some things that people can look at to determine how successful these organizations are at delivering services to small business?
So we have very strong business organizations throughout the city, and their goal is really, when you're a business owner, you want to know what else is out there. Okay, I've got my license. What else is out there to help me and support me, in my journey of entrepreneurship? Our business centers are one component. And so the city does contract with them because they are an extension of the services that the city offers. Our business groups, our chambers of commerce, or economic development organizations, we do contract with them because we know that they are in the neighborhood. And they're there supporting businesses on their journey, whether it's for zoning, how do I get connected with other businesses? How do I have special events in my neighborhood to drive foot traffic?
Well, I always thought this was one of the things that Chicago could really leverage more, is that when I travel around all of the different communities, sometimes I see communities that just absolutely have it going on in terms of retail corridors, the look and the feel of the neighborhoods. Some of them have, outstanding events where they block off streets, and thousands of people come out. And I said, well, why can't this be everywhere? Why can't the folks that know how to do this share that information with others so that they can start to do the same thing? We're just starting to see a little bit of that, but you're trying to make that a regular thing, where the people that have shop local campaigns or event activity, that they're actually now incented to share that information and help kind of mentor protege, bring other communities, so that all of our communities can have some of these outstanding programs.
Right. Some of these neighborhood small business development centers have really stepped up, and and we've noticed that. They said, we're very good at this, and our point is that we want that best practice to be citywide. We don't need to reinvent the wheel in different parts, because the mayor is committed to making sure that every single neighborhood has a strong, vibrant community, strong, vibrant business community, because we know strong businesses mean strong communities. It's the backbone of our communities. So these business groups have built up their capacity where they are training their peers. Essentially, they're mentoring them, but as we talked about, there are metrics to that. So it's not just going to a training class, you have to have a plan. You actually have to execute on the training that you've done. So there's absolutely metrics that are really been implemented for this year. It's really performance-based funding, and ultimately that's the end client is a small business owner.
Now, speaking of that, when you look at the media, and so much of the attention about the mayor's focus gives the appearance that there is a lot of horsepower going into the big companies, the bringing the big companies downtown, securing major employers, and the small businesses out there are struggling to be heard, struggling for resources. The main thing that I think the Advisory Council performs is a way for there to be listening, for somebody to hear the challenges and the struggles. When we had a meeting the other day, and I was talking to Alderman O'Connor, and I was so impressed with what she was able to do there in her community. And I was wondering, I said, how many of your city council colleagues are also this passionate about businesses? She said, well, different people in different wards, everybody has different challenges. You know, everybody can't do the same thing I'm doing, but they can do a version of it because in their community, maybe transportation is a challenge, or maybe crime and cleanliness is a challenge. Everybody's dealing with different things to try to help the businesses get what they need in their community. And so what businesses want to know is, are they being heard? Is this website or Small Business Advisory Council, when we have challenges, will somebody listen to me and actually come back with, hey, we heard you and we're doing something about it? Do you see your role as being as much a listener and taking it back so that people within the various departments can start to do different things? I certainly heard that at the meeting the other day because you had the building commissioner there, and she's obviously listening, and you had the head of business affairs was there, and they're trying to do some things. You see that more people are interested in what you're hearing from small businesses so that they can determine what they can do to make it better out there for them?
You know, the beauty, I think, of, you know, the mayor is that it's one city, one voice. And so part of having one city, one voice is that we are active listeners. Mm-hmm. You know, we are, I mean, the reason we have a newly designed website is because we listen to the community. The reason the mayor launched the Small Business Center is because he listened to the community. He said, you know, it's not about our downtown businesses, it's about businesses in the entire city. You know, and that's why it's not just about getting a business license, it's about making sure our businesses are successful and their doors open, they hire more people. Our businesses are hiring people from our community.
Now sometimes,
no. So it's a deeper commitment from the mayor, and that's why let's contract with our business groups. Let's work closely with our alderman's office. We have a lot of partners. Let's have new technology tools, have a new website. But it's all been done by listening. You know, I went on a listening tour when I first came, going throughout the entire city, from Roseland to Chatham, you know, to Rogers Park, every nook and cranny of the city, and we listened to businesses. You know, we had focus groups in terms of, what do you need to be successful? And in taking that, that's how we redesigned all the new products and services that are being offered by the city, and how we leverage other resources. Because the reality is, it's working together that we can, you know, it'll be much better.
So, you know, a lot of businesses are concerned that the spotlight is always maybe heavily focused on one side of town or the other. But you started something that's really maybe going to grow to give some more people visibility. Talk about what you're doing with this Made in Chicago activity, where you're bringing cameras and crews out to highlight businesses all across this city. How is that working, and will that continue as a way of shining a spotlight on success stories that are in every community in this city?
Well, Made in Chicago is actually an outstanding campaign that the city has, where we really tell the story of the business owner, you know, and look at things that are actually made in Chicago. And I think the Small Business Advisory Council, you know, you, Bruce, are really leading a great initiative to really expand that and build on that. So I know that that's what's in the works right now.
Okay, so then we could expect, I mean, because the city has its own TV channel, it has websites, it does all these kinds of things. If those can be used as platforms, you know, I was talking with some businesses this morning. We had a breakfast out at Flex Coffee in Chatham, and we got some businesses together. We were talking out there, and we said, you know, a lot of times when you're downtown and you look at some of the tourist guides and the maps and everything, you know, it's like they cut off, you know, like they stop. They don't go far south. They don't go west. You think the only thing going on. So people want to give some upliftment to visibility to say, you know, there's some great communities with all kinds of things in Pilsen, back of the yards, Chatham, all these different vibrant areas where people can go and eat and shop and listen to music. But we need some promotion. We need some visibility. So a program like that will begin to put some of those things on the city website. You know, one of the things that the mayor is really pushing is tourism.
Right.
And when people come to Chicago, they want to know, well, where's the real jazz? Where's the real blues? Where can I get some good ribs? And they're willing to experience and go into different communities. So one great opportunity is making public more information about so many of the things that are happening all over the city. So as we wrap up our conversation, I know there's so much that you could say, and I know you want people to go to the website to participate in this program, but you've got a few more things that will be rolling out. What are some of the campaigns that will roll out, other things that we can see from the City Small Business Center that will happen over the course of 2014 that people can look for in terms of other new initiatives that are coming down the lane?
You know, I think that there are new initiatives are constantly evolving, because the reality is the needs of the business owner just grow. They're never stagnant. A business owner's needs continue to grow, and the city will continue to respond to those business needs, and really leverage all the resources that are out there so that we do support our businesses and our community. And what we see is that there is a big push to support our businesses. You know, we've got a lot of buy local campaigns. You talked about neighborhood attraction. In Bronzeville during the holidays, Bronzeville actually did trolley tours into Bronzeville neighborhood as a big buy local campaign. Pilsen did the exact same thing in a buy local campaign. They had 18 days on 18th Street, and that included trolley tours that they took people throughout the whole neighborhood. We were in Norwood Park yesterday, and the businesses there had their own restaurant week.
Yes.
They had their own restaurant week.
And isn't there an alderman or somebody that's doing a deal of the day kind of thing? I think I
Alderman Osterman.
Yes.
Alderman Osterman is actually doing a deal of the day for this month in March,
Okay.
which is awesome. It's like, it's, you know, blue, it's so cold outside. Well, we've got deals of the days in here. You don't have to go far. Stay in the neighborhood. And every business has a special deal for every day. And all the businesses and community are actually very excited because they just walk to their neighborhood businesses, and there's just a lot more energy in the neighborhood.
So when entrepreneurs and marketers and all kinds of people, I know you're bringing in one of the great marketers, Sam Adams Brewery, is going to bring everything they know about branding, about marketing, and you're looking to get entrepreneurs to be able to sit down and engage with a success story and understand and learn and grow. So you're really, are you pleased with the response to this small business center effort? Are you seeing more businesses say, maybe something is changing down there? Maybe these people really are listening to me and reaching out and wanting to connect more across the city? You
know, first of all, we always want 100% client satisfaction. You know, that's the mayor's goal, is everybody, you know, he wants everybody to have a great customer service experience. But that's the goal, right? And part of that is, you know, yes, we're very happy to see that the performance metrics that we've set are making a difference. Clients are coming in, they're not sitting outside for a long time. They're coming in and out a lot faster. Their license time for them to get a license, it's a whole lot faster. You know, they have ease of access of information, whether it's in person or it's online. If they want to find vacant property, now neighborhoods have a great way to profile their neighborhood and to list vacant property. So I think that we will continue to evolve and continue to support businesses, because that is a huge priority and a huge commitment for the mayor. And the reality is, the better our neighborhoods are, the better the city is.
Well, we've had some outstanding success stories throughout Chicago's entire history. This has been a center for so many businesses in all different communities. We have gone through manufacturing renaissance, and now it looks like we're on the ground floor of having another manufacturing renaissance with this investment recently by the Obama administration in setting up the Digital Innovation Center in Goose Island.
Right.
And all of this is about creating a whole new environment, just like in one building downtown in the old Merchandise Mart, of all places, something called 1871 was started, which brought people in who probably never in their life would have gone in the Merchandise Mart. But because of that activity down there at 1871, tech startups, venture capitalists, universities, all kinds of people are down there trying to make something go on. The opportunity is of taking that same innovation and now sprinkling it out throughout the rest of the communities. And so just like with what you're doing, everybody doesn't have to come downtown to get in on the action. They should be able to get in on the action, whether they're in Roseland or Chatham or Inglewood or any place else. And it seems like that's what your agency is really making happen, that you want the information to be available to everybody that wants it. If you're trying to start a business in the city of Chicago, it's not about coming downtown. It's about serving your customers and bringing the best products and services. And as we've seen in the last 4 or 5 years, even with this ridiculous economy and the financial situation that we're in, we've seen some phenomenal businesses get up and running. You know, I think about the two guys I know that started the business where you can order food and order, and now they're close
Grubhub?
to Grubhub, exactly. And that was something that was started in two guys' apartment in
Right.
Lincoln Park. And now they're about to go public, and they've acquired another big firm. They're really, so we have those kinds of success stories right here in Chicago, and they're as much about people and neighborhoods and food and marketing, not just about technology.
Yep. I mean, City of Chicago is a place where the entrepreneur spirit is always igniting.
Well, Roxanne Nava, I want to thank you so much for your service to this city. I know you've had we didn't talk so much about your wonderful background, but you spent time in finance and corporate America, and for you to come back and give back in this way to small businesses is really phenomenal. So I salute your contribution to this city, and I'm delighted to be able to be of service under your leadership at the Small Business Advisory Council. If you want to know any more about what's going on in the city's small business efforts, you don't have to look far. Go to City of Chicago /Small Business Center. That's SBC. City of Chicago /SBC. You will get more information than you ever thought was available about what's going on in the city. My name is Bruce Montgomery. This is another edition of Technology Access Television. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.